Welcome to the Massive Wagons podcast.
I'm Baz.
I'm Adam.
Welcome to the Massive Wagons podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the boys at the back, the rhythm section.
Yeah, they're a necessary evil.
They are.
I guess, for a band, you know.
Often put at the back. You might often wonder why the rhythm section is at the back, the bass, and it's largely down to their looks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Where the lights can't reach them.
Exactly.
The harsh fluorescent of the par cans on the front row. You don't want them reaching them.
Generally ugly people.
Well, let's right. Okay.
Drummers everywhere switching these off.
This is an episode dedicated in. It's a tribute to the rhythm section, folks.
Yeah.
You know,
the unsung heroes, really.
Well, they are the unsung heroes. They're like the sort of they're always given these names, like the powerhouse. You know what I mean? I always have in live reviews. It always says, the thumping powerhouse.
Thunder references. I'm sure they would get sick, bored of all
Rumbly.
that. Nonsense,
the rumble.
Is that what I am? Is that what I am?
Is that all I am to you? The rumble at the back.
Yeah, that's it.
The pounding of Alex Thistlethwaite's drums. This is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, a couple of pounders, yeah.
Quarter pounders. But we're this is a rhythm section appreciation podcast.
It is absolutely because although it often goes unnoticed, but maybe not drummers as much because they're so frigging loud and you can't ignore him. But certainly bass players to a large degree go largely unnoticed. Often, I don't know why they don't take the line. They're not there to take the limelight, are they? They're often not throwing shapes. I mean, you do get your frontman bass players, don't you? Geddy Lee is probably the
Phil in it,
and Lemmy, three of the most famous, I would say, in rock circles anyway. But often stood at the back, just doing what's needed and what's making you sound incredible up front. And taking none of the plaudits for it, really.
Well, I mean, you have, for me, I've never really been a bass player. I've done a couple of, you've been a bass player.
Well, briefly, yeah.
Little known factoid, but
wasn't any good.
but that's like the relationship you have the bassist has with the drummer is arguably, I'm going to say the most important, but it's very important, isn't it? The musically you have to, again, using those stupid words like click. You have to click and you have to lock in, all that business. But
they call it in the pocket. Is that
in
a phrase?
The pocket?
That's
yeah. That's
phrase.
A proper douchebag phrase.
Yeah.
That is like.
Sorry.
That's
I couldn't help myself there.
In the pocket.
Yeah.
But it's true though. You have to, the drummer and the bass player, and I would say the rhythm guitar player. I don't see why they're not in the same, in the same kind of bracket as rhythm section. If you've got a Malcolm Young, whose entire point is to be rhythmic and is to complement the drums and the groove and the bass and not do anything flash, nothing lead at all. That is intrinsically, to me, that's the rhythm section, even though it's not, rhythm section is usually bass drums. That's how it's sort of defined. But you do get guitar players out there. And,
yeah, definitely. I mean, that whole driving thing, I used to love. It's a great feeling when you play bass and you're playing bass and you're tight with the rest of the band and you can feel. It's like a magical feeling. You can feel yourself. Well, you are making the music, aren't you? But it really just feels locked in.
In the pocket.
In the pocket, yeah. It's a great feeling. You're not doing the right lot, but you're just making a massive difference. I've always said, and I've said it 1,000 times, and it's often I've bored people with it, but I've always thought playing the bass is easy to do, but it's hard to do well. That's what I think anyway. It's an easy instrument to pick up. I think I found it easy to pick up. Play a few, you can pick things up quite straightforward, and you get instant sort of gratification. With the bass, because you can play along to songs. Somebody can show you one or two things, and you can play a lot of stuff. But then your development starts, and you go from there. But the guitar is the other way around. The guitar is you put months and months and months and months of effort in, and you still can't play anything. But we are. It takes a lot of the chords and the chord positions and stuff.
Well, the skills are transferable, aren't they? But
completely. Yeah.
it's a different discipline. You know,
Totally,
you have to think differently. Well, having said that, you don't have to, because I mean, you've got the players, the bass players out there that play like no one told them that the rhythm. Or, you know, what I mean, no one told them, you know, to just keep it simple, just lock down the rhythm. You know what I mean?
Probably for the risk of getting punched in the face.
No, but they've approached it differently.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally,
like
yeah.
Lemmy. He plays. He plays it. I mean, not just how he plays, but literally his equipment. He's got a bass guitar, but pretty much the rest of it is an electric. I think he used like an electric guitar head, not a bass cabinet. Was it Murder One? I'm pretty sure that's an electric guitar.
Yeah, it's a massive thing, wasn't it?
Obviously, bass speakers, but he's playing, you know, with a pick, and
he plays chords as well.
He's playing it hard. Yeah, he's playing chords. You know, he's playing it like a guitarist would play.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And that's how he gets his sound. That is the sound. You know, it's not.
I suppose that comes from not having a rhythm guitar player. You know, you're playing two. He's playing two instruments there, really. Isn't
3-piece. Yeah, try to fill in as much of the sound as possible.
It's a difficult one. They say, don't they? You know, the 3-piece thing. It's like it's like the holy grail, isn't it? I think you can achieve a massive sound with three of you. You really are doing something well.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I think 3-piece rock bands have they've got to think differently, you know, in terms of the space. But then again, you know, a 3-piece rock band, traditionally bass guitarist, drummer, and one of them singing, it's not really any different to a 4-piece band, you know, with a singer.
Of course it's not. No, yeah, absolutely not.
But somehow it is. But somehow, because one person has to do multiple roles, I
don't know how you sing and play bass. I tried in that band we were in. I struggled. I mean, I had to pick and choose I had a bit of backing vocals. I had to pick and choose my backing vocal because if it wasn't at the right time, I couldn't do it. I couldn't get it out of my head that it was totally off kilter. It was.
There's a lot of there's a lot to consider.
There really is. Yeah. As for singing drummers, well, I'd take my hat off to those guys. I mean, that is Phil Collins and the like.
Yeah,
you know, unbelievable. I don't know how you sing and drum. That is a black art. Is that?
Well, what's the Triumph dude called?
I've no idea, but they are incredible, aren't they? Bloody hell, yeah.
I can't remember what they're called.
Canadian as well, aren't they?
Yeah, Poor Man's Rush. Yeah. No, I'm only joking. I like Triumph. Great. But I mean, because he ain't playing. I mean, you got the Don Henley. He's crooning Hotel California, you know, while drumming, and it's like, well, it's impressive. It's great, but you know, but then you got like the Triumph geezer who's, you know,
did I mean, my Fleetwood Mac knowledge isn't very great. Did Mick Fleetwood sing?
I have no idea.
Anybody knows that? Let me know. I wasn't sure if he was a singing drummer, Mick Fleetwood.
I think they all sang. I think they might have all done.
Yeah. But they're bass players and singers. Yeah, I mean, I've got a little list here of. I had to make some notes here because I think it's worth making a few notes. Interesting bass players to talk about. Well, my favourite bass player of all time is John Entwistle from the Who. I thought he was amazing. But they're exactly what you said. They're a 3-piece band.
Yeah,
with a singer, aren't they? And they were like 3 lead musicians. Really,
he's got a real aggressive way of playing, hasn't he? You know.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's like. Everyone's at the front in that band, aren't they? Keith Moon, flipping heck, you know, lead drummer, lead bass player, and lead guitar player. But I love him. I think he's amazing. These are all different styles of bass playing that I really like. Cliff Burton, Metallica, another. I mean that intro. What's For
Whom the Bell Tolls.
The Bell Tolls. That's incredible.
Not For Whom the Bells Toll, which is a Bee Gees song. Don't get them mixed up.
I didn't even know that was a bass guitar for years.
Well, the do.
No, I didn't know it was a bass guitar until I saw a video of it, and I was like, "Wow!"
Well, he played like very traditional bass player kind of. He approached it from what it looks like, you know, from live footage. You know, he had the finger technique and very kind of fluid way of playing for a thrash metal band. You know, it's very, very good. Yeah, Cliff. I think if you know. He's kind of up there with Randy Rhoads, isn't he? Where it went far too soon, and you're just left feeling like, what could it have become? You know?
Yeah. It's absolutely tragic, isn't it? Absolutely tragic. Have you seen the famous picture of his dad? His dad with there's the famous Cliff Burton picture when he's got the rings on.
Oh
And
no,
then
no,
there's a famous picture of his elderly dad who's got his son's rings on.
doing it.
Yeah,
Oh,
doing that.
brilliant.
Like, it's a great picture.
I know that his parents had always been sort of within the Metallica family, you know, like they always turn up at gigs and there's pictures
amazing,
of him
yeah,
with
tragic.
Jason Newsted. And,
How old was he when he died? Was he? He would have been.
he'd have been 20 something.
20s.
I don't know.
Bloody hell! What a bloody tragedy! Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible.
No, I like Cliff. I like Cliff as well.
Yeah, he seemed like such a dude. It would have been great to see him, wouldn't it? You know, see Metallica with him, but.
And they liked him so much that they didn't even bother with a bass player for the next album. They didn't And Justice for All. Just didn't bother with a bass at all.
Poor Jason, eh? Poor Jason. Well, he's a fucking hell. He's incredible, isn't he? I think Jason Newsted is amazing. Amazing. He's singing and he's performing on stage. He's unbelievable. He comes out. What is it? Is it the? They used to come out to Creeping Death, didn't they? And is it what's the big gig in Russia? The
Peace one.
He comes out and Cliff Burton's just like and Jason Newsted, the second he gets on stage, his fucking hair's going. Ah!
Yeah.
It's just non-stop. It's just brutal.
Yeah, he's a scary dude on stage, wasn't he?
Yeah, amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, honorary mention there to Newsted.
To Newsted. Yeah. We'll talk about Jim Lee from Slade. Another massive.
Jim Lee, yeah. Those are busy bass parts, aren't they? You don't really
God.
pay attention to.
I remember when we were in that band together, Ace Face, doing the covers and stuff. We did a Christmas show in Ingleton once. Can't remember what the name of the pub was called. Do you remember what it's called? The three horseshoes or something?
I don't know. There's probably something to do with sheep or something in the name.
But we did what was the Slade Christmas song, and I remember sitting at home.
Have they got a Christmas song?
I don't know. I remember sitting at home trying to learn it, and because I never read music and I'm not really a great bass player, so my way of technique of learning it was to find the root notes and then just try and fit everything else around it and just remember it. And I remember just like being blown away. I couldn't play that song. It's probably a very basic technique to somebody who knows what they're doing, but.
Did he write that, or was that just Noddy Holder that wrote that?
I don't know. I know he wrote
a lot of
their stuff. Didn't he? He was a prolific songwriter, and he played everything as well. Didn't he? Played because Noddy played bass and guitar,
right?
And Jim Lee used to play violin,
right?
And I just watching a video before some of Jim Lee's solo stuff, and Jim Lee's the music video to it is him playing every part in the video. It's like a band full of Jim Lees.
Right.
He's on drums, he's on guitar, he's on bass. Such a talented guy.
At the same time.
Wow, I mean, that's how
unreal.
talented he is. Amazing. But yeah, I feel for Slade a little bit. I think the such great songwriters, but their image and that was maybe something that was thrust upon them because it was it was the next big thing.
I mean, they were Slade. I
feel sorry for him.
We could make a full. We could make a full podcast really talking about Slade, but
yeah, we should. Yeah,
I think they definitely suffered image-wise, didn't they? Through they went for the glam thing in the 70s. At the
time, it was amazing, and it did them no harm at all, did it? Because everyone loved it. But it's just looking back now, it looks a bit jokey, doesn't it? But you really dig beneath that surface, and it's amazing music.
Yeah, quickly became
music.
Unfashionable. Pretty quickly, didn't it? When punk and all.
You look at Sweet. They're another band, aren't they? Very similar. You look back at like Sweet stuff before before the glam stuff took off, and they were
even with the glam stuff,
they're
a hard rocking band. Sweet. Same with it's Slade,
Yeah.
But back to the point at hand. Sorry, we digress. Rhythm sections. Bass players. I mean, my favorite bass players. I don't really, Geddy's the obvious one. But again, he basically, and he'll admit it himself. It's John Entwistle, That's
right.
That's what he modelled it off. He wasn't satisfied with just playing the root notes or anything like that. He wanted to,
what his own technique and style.
Attack the bass, and very tonally kind of similar. That sort of, it's not even about bass frequencies. It's almost like mid-range kind of honky sort of like boom,
Just for treble. They used to say that when Entwistle used to soundcheck, everybody had to leave the stage, because it was unbearable.
Yeah,
unbearable volume, treble and volume.
Well, that band, like you said, you can just imagine, can't you? He gets that loud, so Townsend goes, right, well, I'm going to turn up.
Even louder.
And then Moon's going to be like, well, I'm going to be
Yeah.
even louder.
Even louder than that.
Pack even more explosives into me.
Yeah,
into me
yeah.
drums. And that's how you end up with that.
Well, I mean, arguably the greatest rhythm section of all time. If you, well, up there. I mean, you know, he's Geddy Lee and Neil Peart, isn't he? Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, you could. That's not why I listen.
I mean, they're very similar. They're very similar. I mean, John Entwistle and Keith Moon and Neil Peart and Geddy Lee, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, they were massive Who fans.
All four of them have massive amounts of flair, don't they?
Yeah.
The Who just came a generation before, and we're maybe Rush took it to the next level. The same sort of style, you toned it down a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, certainly a great rhythm section, but that's not what does it for me with Rush. You know, it's the songs. To be honest, it's most bands really that. The song comes first, and for me the best rhythm sections are the ones that play appropriately for the music. You know, fair enough. Your Neil Pearts and your Geddy Lees are doing what they do, but they're doing what they do, and it sounds great for those songs. Then you've got your Phil Rudds and Cliff Williamses, which aren't doing. You know, they're just nailing it down. You know,
yeah, what they call him, the human
metronome.
The human metronome.
And that's perfectly right for that, and that is 100% what you need for that, and that is not easy to do.
Easy,
no. If it was, everyone would be bloody.
Particularly
doing it,
not while you're smoking a fag.
Yeah, not while you're smoking a fag.
He's always got a fag on the go, hasn't he?
Or whatever else he was doing at the time.
Oh, great! What is the story about Phil Rudd with the in the studio when this?
Brian Johnson telling the story, when he's on about Phil's. He does a fill or something like and they never recorded to a click track. Most bands record, they'll have some headphones on playing a metronome so that everything's at a consistent tempo. AC/DC never did that, as far as I'm aware, or certainly back in the early '80s or whatever.
Click tracks.
And one of the advantages of having the click track is that if you want to replace any part of a song, you can just record that part and then drop it into the song, and it's exactly in the same tempo, because you've recorded everything to a constant reference. And I think he was asked to redo a fill, but obviously they don't do a click track. That would have meant he'd had to play the whole song again or an entire section. And one of the whoever the producer is going like, we'll have to do it again.
Start again, Phil.
And Phil just went, now play it again or something, and or just play that bit again, And he did it, and he absolutely nailed it, and they were like, and the producers were like, that works like once in 100 times, that never just works, but he does.
Not for me, it doesn't. Every time,
yeah,
first time, every time. But it's true. It's true what they say. It's he's the man, isn't he, when it comes to timing.
The Rudster.
The Rudster. Some of his timing choices through his career have been a bit dubious, but in terms of drumming timing, he's amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing.
Brilliant. Really, really, really good. Another rhythm section for me that never really gets enough. I say never gets enough credit compared to other bands who shall remain nameless. Early '70s bands. Roger Glover and Ian Pace.
I've got Ian Pace and Glover written
on
there.
All right.
Amazing. Absolutely, yeah. Couldn't agree more. Amazing. I remember listening to, is it Live in Japan or Made in Japan? What's the famous Deep Purple one? Yeah. And I call them bloody albums from back in the days. You get, it's like a double album and you get like 5 songs. Don't you?
Yeah.
Whatever it is. And there's a part of it, and I think it's got, is it called Toad? Is that his solo? I think he does a solo, a famous solo, and it's called Toad or something, and it's amazing. And you listen to the bass drums, and it's like, you'd swear it was double bass drums, but it's not. It's 2 single beaters. He's doing all that.
Well, you look at the picture.
Incredible.
You look at the picture of the kit as well on the cover, and he's got like a kick drum, a snare, and a hi-hat, and 1 cymbal or something. There's no toms.
And you're listening to it going, how is he doing that?
Yeah.
How is he doing that? And Ian Pace, wow, amazing. Well, him and Cozy Powell in the 70s.
Well,
they were the boys, weren't they?
Well, Cozy Powell was he played with everybody, didn't he? He was like the go-to drummer through the 80s and whatever.
He played with loads of bands. He played with some like glam bands. Did he play with Poison? Or some band. I was reading some stuff and some real unexpected bands. I was like, wow, I had no idea you'd play with those guys. Like, you know, done an album with whoever, you know, some like 80s bands, like Poison or something, might have been Poison or somebody like that. But yeah, amazing. Or was it Motley Crue? I can't remember. Yeah, but he's played with everyone for good reason as well, you know, because he's amazing.
Yeah, Cozy. He was a man. He was the man.
And you get old Roger Glover in his cowboy hat.
Yeah, and he's yeah.
Cool.
Well, Roger Glover's just cool. I mean, he never did anything too flashy. He played the role that he was in the band because, again, you know, you got Ian Pace on the drums, John Lord doing his thing, Richie Blackmore. You know, it's like
mind-blowing, isn't it?
I don't think there is any room for you to do much other than lock it down. You know, he is he's the heartbeat of that Mark II Deep Purple lineup for me, anyway. I think, and then into Rainbow as well. When did he join Rainbow for like the 80s Rainbow albums? Brought the same sort of ethos, you know, just kept it all grounded and let the wacky stuff go on, you know, around him.
Fools in the band do their thing.
Things, yeah. So Roger Glover for me, he's like, and even now. You look at him, and he just looks like he's aged very well. Hasn't he,
he looks
Glover?
the same as he did in 1975, doesn't he, or whatever.
He looked about 70 in the 70s, but he's just great. He's just a cool guy. He's one of them I'd like to meet one day, if I'm honest.
Him and Ian Pace, they've just got nice guy written on. In fact, the whole band do. They've got nice guys written all over them, haven't they? I bet they're really nice guys. Yeah.
So's Blackmore, so I believe. See, I would never want to meet Richie Blackmore at all. Never.
I watched a little YouTube video recently, and he was I didn't realise well, I'm sure he's changes all the time because he's a cracker, isn't he? But he was a massive Jeff Beck fan. He called him like God. Said not Jeff Beck, sorry, not Jeff Beck, the man who died.
Jeff Beck died.
Not Jeff Beck. Yeah, Jeff Beck.
You weren't talking about Jeff Beck?
Yeah, I'm thinking of someone else.
Yeah, it's Jeff Beck.
It is Jeff Beck, and it is Jeff Beck. Sorry, yeah. My fault.
Everyone else at the time, because there was all the Yardbirds guitarists, you know, because the Yardbirds were 60s.
That's right.
And then
I was getting mixed up with a guy who's either Stevie loves him. My fucking brain's not working. Irish fella.
Oh, Rory Gallagher.
Yeah, sorry. I thought it was Rory Gallagher for a second. It was Jeff Beck. Yeah, no, he was a massive Jeff Beck fan. He called him. Wow,
genius. Yeah. Well, he always Blackmore never rated, I think, quite publicly, other guitarists of the time.
There's some great stuff on YouTube about. There's some great videos of Blackmore's comments about other guitar players. They're so funny. Take them with a pinch of salt, obviously, but so funny.
But he's self-depreciating himself, though. A lot of the time, he doesn't.
Don't think he likes Stevie Ray Vaughan, did he?
Did he not?
I don't think so. No. Did he Stevie Ray Vaughan?
He made so. I know well, Hendrix. I think he loved comments. Hendrix, so I'd find that strange. But I know there's digressing again, but I did read something from like a late 70s interview, and he name checks Eddie Van Halen and Randy Rhoads as like, these two, they're not my kind of music, but these are two exciting players.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years later, they're the biggest guitarists in the world. So, you know, he had his. I think Richie Blackmore was fantastic. Obviously, he had massive influence on me, but yeah. Outspoken.
yeah. Fucking fair play. Yeah, that's what you want to be, isn't it? It stays current, doesn't he? He's in the limelight, isn't he? People have got an opinion on him. I think he's hilarious. You don't have to take everything he says so seriously.
No. That's good. Other rhythm sections then. Go on, let's go a bit more recent then. Is there any more?
I'll tell you what, I had to write his name down because I am a fan of the band and I'm not up on a lot of stuff, but the drummer out of Clutch, Jean-Paul Gaster. If you ever get a chance to watch Clutch live, I watched Clutch live at. It's on YouTube, 2009, is it live at Wacken? Oh, what a drummer he is. He is amazing. He reminds me very much of the guy that was in Mr. Big, who was the guy that sadly died.
Pat Trophy.
Wow, very similar. They're them like, you know them like, they're like, you could tell they were being brought up listening to like 50s rock and roll. It's that like laid back, lazy. There's none of that. It's just all that, and it's just like fast and like, tasteful and like There's nothing quite like it. They sort of sit high up, and a bit like Ian Pace as well. The kit's quite flat, and it's just throwing it out, and it's just like rock and rolly type.
Well, Clutch always surprised me, actually.
Awesome.
I always had a bit of a missing, like, I didn't know what they were, but when I did listen to them, they weren't what I thought they were. You know, they're very they're very rhythmic, aren't they? It's all about the sort of relentless driving,
definitely
kind of riffs, and
he's an amazing drummer.
I can't really modern ones. I mean, I've got to say, I think Muse are. Is it Chris Wolfensohn and Dom Howard? I think they are called the Muse, the bassist and drummer at Muse.
All right,
I think them two are incredible. Really, you know. They are a true 3-piece kind of. You know, we're talking about the 3-piece sound, larger than life.
They're a
sort
behemoth,
of thing.
aren't they?
Just amazing. I'm a big fan of Muse.
You got the great. Oh God, step back slightly, old and new. You get another great video on YouTube of Ian Pace and Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers doing like a drum battle, but it's in like a theatre for a crowd.
Oh wow!
And they're both together on stage. So Ian Pace throws some stuff out, and then he looks over that, and then Chad's like, it's fucking brilliant.
That's good.
It's really good. Like, and I like Chad Smith. I think he strikes me as such a down to earth, funny guy.
Yeah. Well,
I think he's brilliant.
I like Chad Smith and all.
I think the band is in Chili Peppers. They divide opinion, and they're not massively my cup of tea. But individually, I think Flea and Frusciante and Chad Smith I like them all. I think they're amazing. But I don't know, they put them together in the songs. Not massively my thing. But separately, when I watch videos of them playing on their own and read stuff they've said, like John Frusciante and stuff, they're interesting guys, aren't they? Very talented, very talented.
Yeah, the less than the sum of the parts, I guess is one way of putting it.
It's the phrase.
I kind of agree. I think we've even mentioned in other podcast episodes, really, there's some great Chili Pepper songs, just not, they're just not my cup of Cup of Bovril. Aye. But anyway, yeah. So the rhythm section, I think the rhythm section's, obviously something that if you don't have a good one, your band is.
You're destined to fail.
It's no good how good your lead singer is or how good your lead guitarist is.
Yeah.
You need this.
I want to give an honorary mention to Ringo Starr, though. Never understood the hatred he gets.
Does he though? I mean, is it not just because he was in the Beatles and they're like
maybe.
They are so big. They're almost bigger than anything. Bigger than Jesus, aren't they? Bigger than larger than life. It's just natural that people are going to rebound on that. But yeah, I think I know what you're going to bring up. That video.
There's another video. Yeah, of all the famous drummers bigging up Ringo's style, and when the drummers explain it, you go, oh yeah, mate. Well, it's not. It's like it's not a laughing stock, is he? He's not a joke. He was amazing. All he needs to do is do. And then it's like, that's Ringo.
Yeah.
Dave Grohl says it. Yeah. If you can tell who a drummer is, by the time he's hit the drum 3 or 4 times, what's he doing wrong?
It's all the subtleties, isn't it? It's like the micro differences in timing between one drummer and the next.
Absolutely, yeah.
You notice it in a way that you don't even know that you're noticing, but yeah, that's something that's cool, and it's something that's arguably getting lost in today's music with the way production is, and everything has to be on the grid and lined up and perfectly in time. That's just the way modern music is, but it does iron out those quirks that make
those little bits and pieces that make people stand out. Yeah.
So yeah.
One last thing before we go. In my opinion, if you want to listen to a really great rhythm section, get your headphones on and listen to Elvis, Suspicious Minds live in Las Vegas. Live. His band are, I don't know what I don't know what they're called, to be honest. He was called Donald Dunn, the bass player, Donald Duck Dunn, they called him. He could have been the bass player at the time. I think he played bass with Elvis. I don't know what the drummer's called. But that video is unbelievable. Their band Elvis's band are fucking unbelievable.
Well, them guys back in the day had to...
They
did some amount of shows, didn't they?
Oh, the bass and drums in that song. Just listen to it and let me know what you think. It's mind-blowing. That's what I like, that. And what's the other big one I like is A Long, Long Time Ago. When that kicks off, that's another great bass song. That
check them out.
That. Brilliant.
But thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe, all that bollocks. Catch us on tour. Dates are below. Get a ticket.
Go for it.
And we will see you next week.
See you next week.